You don't see that from an Isekai character too often. Well, I shouldn't envy them. You know what? I just gotta appreciate what I got. Wow. I mean, in theory, really cool idea. Execution leaves a lot to be desired. This Isekai really doesn't play by the rules. Like in any other show, we would have had to have the MC do it. Alright, Water Magician continues to impress, but let's see if people actually want videos on this one or if it was a mistake last week, so we'll see. Drop a like, share, support, subscribe if you're new around here, and Patreon is where you'll catch my full live reactions. As I've been saying today, do have tonsillitis recovering, hence my voice, need I say more. Now here's the thing, I said last week, to me this is like, almost like a Mushoku Tensei. You could even compare like a free Ren. That's just chill, that's just tame, that doesn't really make you stress too much, but just does things in such a comfy way that just hits really well. The production isn't great right now. You'd have to be a blind man to say there was no production issues in this episode, so it leaves a lot to be desired. But the thing about this show is that the number of times I just see or witness something that I'm like, you don't really see that in Isekai. You don't see humbleness, you don't see righteousness, you don't see just genuine feel-good moments in Isekai. It's almost kind of reminds me of the new Superman movie, man, and that's why that movie's so great, is it legitimately understands the idea of what Superman's supposed to represent, and in a way, this is like an Isekai with an MC that just represents what it means to be a good person, because like, the idea that it's such a blink and you miss a moment, but he like is actually humble. He's like, okay, you know, I was pretty good at this, but she was better at this. And you know, he doesn't have like an ego. He just is curious. He enjoys the thrill of battle, but he just comes across as a very genuine dude. But the big thing is all throughout this episode, because I'm Isekai trash. I've seen the worst, I've seen the best, and I've seen everything in between. But the thing is every single show does this. It may not be this exact episode, it might have led into next week, but the idea that we're building in since the beginning of the episode. His little group is dealing with goblin archers, and then there's a big boy in the shadows killing someone. Therefore, we're gonna need the overpowered Isekai MC to deal with it, because that's how these shows function. Build into they warn the guild, and the guild's like, oh shit, there's about to be a boss wave that will come up from the depths and will kill everyone. Okay, bet. So now what's going to happen is the group of powerful heroes and warriors and the like, they'll do okay, but shit will hit the fan, our boy will get word, he'll come in and he'll fight and kill maybe the big boy. Like, he won't just one-shot solo everything, because this isn't One Punch Man, right? But very clearly they're going to need another powerful healer's or magician's help, and that's how it's going to be. But seemingly they dealt with it. This dude was having a library date with a cute elf woman, and at no point did he get interrupted to go deal and do some battle. That may seem small. You may be saying, oh man, like, is that really? No, it is, because these shows never do that. Because what Isekai has represented in the 2010s to 2020s is basically power insert self, you know, kind of like power fantasy self-inserts, where it's like, we want to make the most bland character known to man, so that people with self-esteem issues and low confidence can see themselves in this mediocre character who gets everything handed to them, so that they can have their self-insert fantasy. That's literally what it is. And then this show's like, hey, my boy's just nice, he's good, he's decent, and yeah, he's a little flustered by a cute elf girl, but he's pursuing knowledge. And while yes, we know he's going to do some crazy shit, look at the previous episode as an example, the fact that people who are supposed to be like, hey, without your help, people are gonna die. Did they struggle? Yeah, but they dealt with it. I thought for sure what was gonna happen was, because I've seen so many of these shows, that for the most part I can predict how story structures will be. I wasn't sure if it'd be a close pal of ours or if it'd be one of his acquaintances, but the idea that I totally expect someone was gonna be gravely wounded or killed, and then he would show up after. And instead, we dealt with the Goblin King. Because when you see them say, okay, if we kill the Goblin General or whatever, the whole shit will stop. But there's 3 of them. Someone's surely gonna die. No, the Goblin King comes in, and his one swing is so strong that it creates a wind buzzsaw that cuts through not only his generals, but he was hoping it would cut through the humans as well. So then they have to divide the task force up, and honestly, when I saw his sword stab, I was like, that's impressive, but he now no longer has a sword. I thought for sure he was losing at least an arm. I thought we were going to have a Shanks moment or something, but no, we actually dealt with it. Granted, they end a little ominous with the door, so shit could still continue, but the fact that they actually ended this episode with them victorious, even if there's like one up, like maybe there's like Goblin Godfather or something is going to be even stronger, and now he will be needed. The fact that this entire episode allowed it to function without the Isekai OP heroes' help is still impressive. And just those little moments like him experimenting with like, okay, what if I made an ice path and then I use water jets to push myself? It's a pretty clever idea for a speed boost. It looked lame as hell, but you know, he's got the ideas. He's like, hey, what if I did 1,000 jets? 1,000 jets would probably launch him into outer space, but the mindset's there. The creativity of the show is actually really impressive, and I think that's why I'm pretty forgiving of the production. Now granted, if it gets to the Newgate level, if you're new around here, you may not understand why I always go back to that, but for the long-term viewers, you understand why we bring up the Newgate. That's when production gets ruined. But there's a reason why when I covered the beginning after the end, I wasn't like overly harsh to the point of, God damn, this is the most ugly thing I've ever seen, because I've always said, if you actually watch more than a dozen anime a season, you see a lot of shows pull off the Water Magician. Because, yeah, production is usually pretty hit or a miss. The show doesn't as a whole look ugly though. The character models and the backgrounds and some of the big Sakuga moments do look really good. But yeah, episodes like these with 3D crowds and the like is definitely way more noticeable. But I mean, we had a very, very well produced fight last week. Like the second half of episode 4 was absolutely fire. So I mean, as long as bigger moments can hopefully have more time and attention, I'm going to be even more forgiving. But yeah, if it gets to the point where you have something like the Newgate, which literally had eyes like this and bobbleheads and there was no consistency, it looked like a third grader drew it. Yeah, like that's when it's unforgivable if you ask me. But either way, I really like the show. Personally, I don't think this show has the viewership to keep it weekly, but the first video I did on it did really well, but personally I think it only did well because I had Mashuko Tensei in the title, so we'll see. You can prove me wrong. If this does well enough, we'll keep it weekly, but otherwise, you know, we'll be watching it over on Patreon. So let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think is going to happen next week? Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell, and of course, Patreon, full live reactions, and other exclusives like, hey, I give video shoutouts to all my patrons. Alright, so today we got Sphinx, F. Google, Andre, Darthwin Wright, Eric Barton, Ironis, Jeff, Dawn, Chemist, and we also have Restart Kuntz. I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and you all have a good one.